Hello, hello, hello. I am dealing with technical issues with live streaming. I hope and pray you guys can see me. I am trying to figure this out right now. Um, but either way, we're going to go ahead and get started simply because I'm just going to assume that we're live. And this is not a long broadcast, but it is my first of the year. I have not been on live all year long for a lot of reasons, but nevertheless, here I am. So, how is everybody? I hope this finds you doing well. I hope this finds you um, with life going as well as can be expected in light of everything that's going on in this country right now, which is a lot. We've got a lot going on. And for me, I've been really working on regulating my nervous system and making sure my mindset is good and that I'm not feeding into the turmoil and contributing to bad energy, because I believe everything is energy and we get to participate in the energy we want to live under or not. So, for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to be teaching. It's mostly from a work aspect, but just know the things that I'm going to be sharing with you today, even though they're corporate, they do work for personal. And I hope you can see my slide deck in the shell that you can watch. And I'm just trying to give people a little bit of time to come on. And I'll start off by telling you guys the things I have to say. And that is that this is in no way replacing any professional, medical, or advice that you need to get as a professional. From a professional, you can do that through local, or you can feel free to contact me on my website. You'll get my links at the end that you can feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to be of help to you if at all possible. And, it's just for liability's sake that I want you to know you can't depend on things you hear from this podcast over and above your own professional psychology, faith based, or professional development help. Don't make what I'm saying your gospel, but use it as information to help yourself grow. Okay, so let's get started. Why am I doing this live? Why would I do this now at this time? I'll tell you why. Because I'm doing a whole lot of coaching around change, how to change, how companies can change, how the individuals in those companies can change. I'm doing so much around that. And in case you don't know, I'm Dr. Cheryl Carr, and whether you're leading global transformation, a department reorganization, or if you're just navigating the big pivot for yourself, as we've all had to do, especially those of us that work in government contracting, we've had to pivot hard, as hard as we did in 2020. Today, what I'm going to do is walk you through a simple, powerful framework I call B.E.S.T that I use with executives when I coach them one on one, change leaders, and high functioning teams in the marketplace. It will help you to get out of your way and get out of advice giving mode to become a clarity-based change agent, a clarity-based change coach, especially when you're dealing with resistance yourself, your team, or if you're just feeling and your team is feeling emotionally overwhelmed during change. So it'll help you with not having all this advice and no clarity, and will rid you of assuming motivation equals capability. And I'll also talk about how generic coaching misses the moment. You need a change coach. You need someone who knows change, habituation, neuroscience of change, and industrial psychology, industrial organizational psychology, all the things I'm an expert in. So what is best? Best is behaviors that brings clarity. It's expectations that empower ownership. It's skills to help spot resistance, and it's training that helps you transform together. And then at the end of this, you'll be able to get a cheat sheet that you can use. So, first of all, let's talk about behaviors. Be careful when you're dealing with change behaviors with yourself and with others that you don't diagnose, okay? It's good to observe behaviors. It's good to say what you're seeing versus what you want to see. It's good to know people's job description and job fulfillment. But what you have to be careful of is to know what you're seeing versus what you need to see. And then also behaviors that you want to see, you need to know how to lead a coaching prompt. And then also, you need to know what's the smallest visible action you can shift. Hold on just a moment. I'm getting some more technology stuff because okay. So what's the smallest visible action you can shift right now? That's what we're going to talk about. And then with expectations, we need to be able to clarify and clearly state outcomes, mindset, and boundaries. And then we need, again, coaching prompts. And those coaching prompts are to ask framing questions. What's the one outcome that we need today? Not future casting, future forecasting, but think about the moment. Be present in the moment. Hold on. It's telling me Facebook isn't broadcasting. Let me see. You guys, this is so funny. Because it's saying it's live on one platform, but I don't, people are saying they can't see it. I don't know what's going on. I may have to go back out and come back in again. I don't know why. I don't know what's going on. It's annoying. This is annoying. We're going to pause for a moment for technical difficulties, and I'm going to see what's going on with Facebook because it's the Facebook stream that isn't live. Just hang tight with me, okay? It's saying that it's on. I'm not sure. It's saying my page has no issues. Facebook, I am so disappointed because you know I have set this all up properly, and it's saying I'm live now. So I'm not sure what's going on. I see it. You guys, it's saying it's live. So if you can't log on, I'm not sure. Hmm. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't. I don't. But let me go back to my presentation because I don't want to run over time and I don't want to rush. But you can watch the rebroadcast. If you can't get on live, you can watch the rebroadcast. So let's go on to the next slide because I think I talked this through. And then finally, we've got skills where you can identify capabilities or confidence gaps. And then we'll talk coaching prompt of following the principles of habit change. And let me dive into that. Coaching prompts allow you to follow principles that help you change habits. If you've seen any of my earlier podcasts, you know that I help you understand how you behave. It starts with habituation, how the brain likes to store things you've done so it doesn't have to exert a lot of energy, and it habituates things. That's how you can be driving and end up at home and not remember anything about that drive. That's how you get up in the morning and you brush your teeth and wash your face, take a shower. You do everything the way you normally do it every day. It's because that's just how our brains are wonderfully made. So when it comes to habituation, it is really good for you to understand what capability or what skill or what thing you're trying to change, what confidence you need to build in your abilities, and then design principles of habit change around that. And it's really good to not try to change everything all at once, but to pick one skill, one habit, one thing your team needs to change and grow from there. So, what skills feel under supported right now is a good way to start thinking about the skills of your team, the skills of the project that you're wanting to start, especially around technology, because that's changing so fast. And then also with yourself personally, what are you wanting to improve in your life? Those are the first things you've got to change. And then training. You guys, nobody is an expert at everything, and everyone is a beginner at first. But it's what you practice and support training through that you can grow. So it's really important to know. I can prompt you by saying what you practice gets mastered. What you do concurrently and congruently and consistently will change you. Bursts of greatness don't work with long lasting change or real change. You only change by something you practice over and over again. And then it's really good to continue checking in with yourself to see what support do you need to grow some more from that next level of change without burning out. There are what I call, and I don't know, I think um, my banner is blocking this circle of commitment. And this is where everyone starts when they begin to want to change something. It doesn't matter if it's a team, corporation, or individual. We start out very enthusiastic and committed to doing something. That's just where we start out. That's middle of the road for most of us. But let me tell you something. It's just like the snowbirds that you see every start of the year at the gym, and then by March, everybody's gone. People drop out of change, even if they start out with the best of intentions. And don't you hate that with anything that you do? Don't you hate that you can be so enthusiastic and committed, but then you end up not involved in the change, not accountable to yourself in the change, and then you don't feel safe? It's like, I keep failing, so I'm just going to give up. That's called a lack of psychological safety. You just don't feel confident. So, how do we work on that? How do you fix that part of you that doesn't feel safe, isn't involved in your change anymore, and you're not accountable to yourself for the goals that your team set or you set? Here are the interactive exercises that I want you to think right now of a change that you need to make, either at work or in what you're doing currently. And think about that change right now. And then I want you to apply the B.E.S.T model to diagnose one team challenge. And if this is just for you personally, the changes you want to make, what's that team challenge? Then think about what's unclear, what's missing from what you need to change following the B.E.S.T framework. What's missing? And then what needs to be coached? Where do you need to find a coach? I'm a coach. At practice, you can reach out to me. I'll share those details with you and think that through. That's your homework assignment from this podcast. Think that through and then decide what you want to change. One thing, one change scenario, either at work, with your team, if you're a leader, or with yourself personally. Apply the B.E.S.T framework to diagnose the main challenge. Make the main thing the main thing. What's unclear for you? What do you need to get more information about? What's missing from being able to achieve this change? And then what needs to be coached? You're not an expert. Like I said earlier, everybody starts out as a beginner. Everybody's a beginner. You don't start doing something with expertise unless it's a lightning strike, and that can happen. There are a lot of people that sit down at a piano and can play. There's a lot of people pick up a guitar and can play, but how many of us does that happen to? So use this as this interactive exercise as your homework, and then let's just wrap up what the B.E.S.T framework is. And the best thing for you to do is memorize that B.E.S.T framework. And what is B.E.S.T? I told you guys at the very beginning. B.E.S.T is, and I'll be real clear, that's why I look at my notes. It's B, bringing clarity. E, empowering ownership. S, spotting resistance. T, transforming together. And then I did tell you, I will bring you or will have available a cheat sheet. And I hate that term. We're not cheating. It's a hack. I'll have a one sheet with a hack for you being able to change. Because I want you to know something. It's said often that people hate change. And that's not true. People don't hate change, they hate being changed. People don't like being changed. They want to change at a pace that they can feel comfortable, confident, emotionally and psychologically safe, and they know they can actually reach a goal. Nobody starts out saying, "Hey, I want to fail and I never want to reach my goals." Nobody starts out like that. Everybody wants to meet their goals. And if you're a leader and you're listening to this framework and you think you might want to incorporate it, I'll share how you can reach out with me. But I want you to include this type of change framework in your performance reviews. Stop expecting people to acquire change and change behaviors around processes and technology without providing them a framework to do so. And then also bring clarity to change coaching with one to one coaching conversations. A lot of what we do as far as training is we do everything in a group and we expect people to get it all the same in the group. And they don't and they won't. Stop doing that. Start setting up one to one coaching conversations with your team. For those of you making a personal change, feel free to reach out to me at my practice. It'll be on my website. You can go to my practice website and reach out to me. I can help you. I can coach you one to one. Yes, there is a cost, but I work with people with their budget. And then finally, I will provide this information with a one-page hack sheet and journal prompts. So, my thing to you is to remind you you don't have to do more to make a difference. You can lead with clarity and less chaos. And if you want to do that, if you want to learn to change and change well, I can help. Feel free to reach out to me and feel free to share this. If you're watching the rebroadcast, all this information will probably be available for your viewing at your leisure. And it was such a pleasure to be back on here again. I have missed being on a podcast. I am updating my platform. This all stuff is old, a little dated to me, but my team is at work because we have a lot of exciting things going on, a lot of exciting things coming out of my practice, a lot of exciting things coming out of my coaching and counseling and work with leaders, executive leaders, and corporations, and still the government, just very small. Okay. I'm Cheryl Carr, your work doctor. Thank you guys so much for joining me for B.E.S.T. Let's lead with more clarity and less chaos. I'll see you the next time I do a broadcast, which I'm not sure when that'll be. I'm not going back to weekly. That's too much. So I'll bring you some more good information, probably centered around change, because that's what we're all experiencing so much of, both in society and interpersonally. Have a great rest of your Monday. I'll talk to you later. Bye.